Good morning, everyone, and happy World Ocean Day. My name is Joe Grabowski. I'll be your host today, and this is our second year running a full day event celebrating oceans. Last year, we had tens of thousands of students take part, and I have no doubt that that's what's happening again today. We've got hangouts going all day from 8 o'clock right through 4 o'clock. But it's my great pleasure to be joined right now by Geoff Green, expedition leader for the Canada C3 expedition and the founder of Students on Ice. He's live from the ship right now on the St. Lawrence River. They're 1 week into the epic expedition, the 150-day journey along the coastline of Canada, from Toronto through the Northwest Passage to Victoria, British Columbia, with a goal to inspire a deeper understanding of our land and our peoples, past and present, the future of our country. So, Geoff, it is an absolute pleasure to have you joining us from the vessel today.
Hi, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. And also a very happy World Oceans Day to everybody. I am, in fact, here in Cornwall, Ontario. We just arrived early this morning, and I'm on board our icebreaker. It's called the Canada C3, and it's a 220-foot long icebreaker research ship that we're sailing all around Canada. And I want to give you guys a quick tour, tell you a little bit about the ship, what we're doing, and answer your questions at the end. So let's get started. I'm going to just walk around here. It's been an amazing welcome this morning. I'll just see behind me here that Cornwall and the community have really come out. They've got a whole bunch of people here meeting us. They have displays about the St. Lawrence River, educational interpretive stations, and we had a really warm welcome. It's one of the best things so far about Canada C3 is every day we in deck. This is where we come onto the ship here, and we've got a bunch of zodiacs up here. I love zodiacs. They're these black things that you can see, and this is a big orange one that the Canadian Coast Guard have allowed us to use. That's our science boat. But these other zodiacs here, I'll give you a better look at them in a second. They allow us to get out on the river, on the ocean, and to do research, to go exploring. If I could live in a zodiac, I would live in a zodiac. We use them a lot in the Arctic and in the Antarctic. Up right to the front of the ship, you can see behind me the superstructure of the vessel. And now behind me now, you can get a good shot of what a zodiac looks like. And the bow. This is the anchor, the winches, or the windlasses that and raise our anchor. Today we're at a dock anchor. Got some flags flying here, and some more. We've got a lot of students visiting today down on shore. And in the background, I'm just going to show you a beautiful shot of the St. Lawrence River, an important part of our country's history and of our future. So there we go. On the other side of the river is Akwesasne, which is the traditional, this whole area is the tradition of the Mohawk and of the Haudenosaunee people. So we're honored to be here today on their traditional territory. And tomorrow, we're actually spending the day over in Akwesasne with the community there. So we're going to keep going. We're going to walk past a davit. This is a part of our science program that it's right here behind me. That hook. And that'll be used to raise samples from the ocean. Our scientists will use that to lower different types of equipment. So this thing behind me now is a mobile laboratory donated to us by Dalhousie University in Halifax. We're so thrilled about that. And it's one of the science labs where the scientists on Canada C3 will be conducting their research. So there we go. We're out of the sun now, and you can see all some computers. Most of the science taking place on board Canada C3 is focused on the ocean and on water quality. We're doing a microplastics experiment where we're looking, unfortunately, the oceans of our planet are increasingly having their chemistry changed because of all the plastics in the oceans. That's one reason why we need to stop using so much plastic. Water bottles, if you can avoid that by using your own water bottle, please do, because there's way too much garbage going into our oceans, and we have to stop that as fast as we can. We're also doing a study of all of the life of Canada's ocean, and that's a really exciting project. It's actually analyzing the DNA that is in the water, and it can tell us what the life forms are, from whales to seals to seabirds to invertebrates. And that's one of 22 different science projects happening on Canada C3. Canada C3, by the way, is a journey to celebrate Canada's 150th anniversary of Confederation by sailing 23,000 kilometers all around Canada's coastline. We started in Toronto, and we're going to finish in Victoria, but we're going right through the Northwest Passage. But it's much more than just a voyage to celebrate Canada. It's a voyage of science, as I've mentioned. We've celebrated World Environment Day in Kingston 2 days ago. Today we're celebrating World Oceans Day. But it's also a voyage of reconciliation. And by what I mean by that is it's a voyage where we're really looking at some of the things that have happened in our last 150 years which are not good. For instance, the way First Nations, Inuit, and Métis have been treated. Things like residential schools, which was an atrocity in Canada. So we're raising awareness, we're telling stories, we're sharing stories about what reconciliation means. And for instance, tomorrow we'll be in Akwesasne, and some of the people we have on board are First Nations from across the country. So, and then education, talking to students like you is a huge part of what C3 is about. So let's keep going. Going back outside, gonna walk down here to the main structure of the ship. There's a Zodiac, an outboard engine on it. Coffee cup, coffee's important, there we go. And this is our expedition mudroom, where we get dressed before all of our journeys. There's life jackets and everything. This is a really amazing space that was built in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And, you know, Canada is an ocean country, aren't we? We are so lucky. As you guys probably know, we have the longest coastline. This is the galley. We all have to eat every day. Good, healthy meals. This is another area on this ship where we eat and have meetings. This is some of the many partners that we're working with to make Canada C3 possible, including the Department of Fisheries and Oceans right there, who are a big part of our science program. We're going to run upstairs. Lots of stairs on a ship. Here we go. As I was saying, Canada is an ocean nation. We have the longest coastline of any country in the world. We are so lucky that we are a nation of rivers and oceans and lakes, and it gives us a responsibility to take care of that water. And that's one thing we're really trying to showcase. This is one of our meeting areas here. Over here, we have what's called our legacy room. And we've got some people in here right now that are meeting in the legacy room. And this is a special space to have conversations about reconciliation, trust building, and ceremony. I'm going to run upstairs now. Got some of our police department in Cornwall visiting. And going up. I want to take you guys to the bridge. The bridge is the coolest spot, I think, on any ship, because that's where the captain and the officers steer the ship, navigate the ship, and there's all kinds of really interesting. Well, he's spends a lot of time up here. This is the wheel, the helm, where we steer the vessel from. You can look over the front there. There's the river. There's radar up here, radios, satellite communication. It's a great place to be. We're docked today, right here in Cornwall. So right now it's pretty quiet because the ship's tied up. Let's go back outside. I want to show you another one of the amazing places. It's the very top of the ship, called Monkey Noisy, but it's right at the very top. Here we are. It's going to spin around. You can see 360 degrees around me, and I'm going to look up. You'll see a gigantic satellite dish above me. Look at that thing. That is the way we're communicating with you, so you can follow this journey over the next 5 months every day, and I really, really hope you will, because this is a journey for you. We want to share Canada C3 every day through, let me just go downstairs to a quieter spot. We're going to go inside here. And this is a helicopter hangar, and now we're using it as a great meeting place. We're having presentations in here. You can see a beautiful canoe hanging up in the back of the hangar there. But yeah, I really hope you guys will follow this journey every day on our website, canadac3.ca, also on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We're putting videos up. We're going to be doing Google Hangouts and Facebook Live, so please join us as often as you can, and I hope you'll really enjoy the journey. You're going to go right to the back of the ship, and then I think we'll stop and take questions after that. So right back here, one of the most incredible inventions ever is the kayak. And we have 4 traditional kayaks here. We've made them using the same design as the Inuit that used. Just instead of seal skin and animal skin, we're using more modern materials. But the design has hardly changed, and they're beautiful, beautiful kayaks to paddle. And here we are in the very back with the beautiful Canadian flag flying. And maybe I'll stop there and see if there's any questions that I can answer in your classes.
All right. Well, Geoff, thank you for the tour. It's such an amazing vessel, and I was able to join in Toronto and check it out. It really is an amazing ship that everybody's put together for this journey.
Well, thank you so much. We're very proud of it, and it's a great symbol of many things. It looks like a Canadian flag on the water. Maybe after some questions, I'll take you out on the dock so you can see the ship from outside.
That'd be great. It would be awesome to see the ice-breaking hull. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's meet some of our classrooms. We have classrooms watching live and classrooms who are with us right now. Anybody who is watching live, if you send in a question via the YouTube chat and let us know where you're from, we'll try and get it in. But for now, let's jump to our first class.
All right.
So we have Mrs. Collins' class joining us from Fergus, Ontario. They're a grade 3-4 split class. Let me turn your microphone on. How's it going, guys?
Great.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
You guys have a question for Geoff?
How do you get the food? Like, don't you run out after a little while?
That's a really good question. Well, I hope not, because we got a hungry team, but we have big freezers on the ship. And actually down in the bottom of the ship, we have a gigantic freezer container. So we're able to store a lot of food on board and keep it for a big part of the journey. But we're also stopping and picking up fresh provisions and going shopping whenever we need to right now. But where it will get challenging is up in the Arctic, because it's not like down here in Fergus, Ontario, or wherever you live, where you can go out to the grocery store. There are grocery stores in the Arctic, of course, but they're very spread out. So we have to be very careful in our planning to plan ahead and get lots of food on board so we can feed everybody.
All right, good question, because you're definitely going to be isolated in some of those further north communities. But man, they must be beautiful places to visit.
Oh, they're amazing places. The Arctic is our largest coastline in Canada, and it is, I think, one of the most special, important, and beautiful places. It's a place where people have lived for thousands of years. So Canada, even though we're celebrating 150 years of Confederation, people have called this land home for a lot longer than 150 years, which is important for us to remember. But the Arctic and the Arctic Ocean is our largest coastline, and Canada is an Arctic country. We are one of 5 countries in the world that own parts of the Arctic in the world. So we're really, really, really fortunate.
All right, an excellent point. Let's see, let's visit Mrs. Pommier's classroom. They are joining us from, let me just double check my list. There they are. Another class in Fergus, a grade 7 and 8 split class. Your microphone's on.
Hi.
Hi there.
What type of wildlife do you find?
What type of wildlife will we see, or have we been seeing? Well, since we started the journey in Toronto this first week, we've seen lots of birds, lots of seabirds, and migrating birds like Arctic tern, blue herons, a lot of the same birds that you're going to be seeing in Fergus, I'm sure. Loons, gulls. We actually had some of our scientists go and tag some American eels, and American eels are people kind of get a little uncomfortable around eels, but they're really an amazing animal, and something that we're studying on this trip. As we go and get out into the ocean, then we're going to start to see whales. And just downriver here in the St. Lawrence, in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, are some of the biggest whales in the world. Humpbacks, sei whales, fin whales, and of course the biggest animal that's ever lived on planet Earth, the blue whale, bigger than the dinosaurs. And the amazing thing is that the blue whales still live here. We still share planet Earth with this immense, beautiful mammal called the blue whale. So we're going to be seeing a lot of whales. As we go north into the Arctic, we'll see polar bears and walrus, different seals, narwhal, muskox, caribou. So some of the most amazing animals that we're lucky to have in Canada. Fish, we'll be seeing lots of fish. Not just looking overboard, of course, but our scientists will be catching some fish to study, and even little small things that live in the oceans, the invertebrates, so mussels. But birds and mammals will be a big focus of the wildlife that we see. I'm going to keep walking for the next few questions, if that's okay.
Perfect. Let's jump to Mrs. Wells Skinner's classroom.
Okay.
They're joining us from Peterborough in Ontario.
Hey, Peterborough.
Let me turn their microphone on. Okay, your mic is on.
Alrighty, so at the end of your 150th journey, after your team is finished collecting and conducting data, how do you see it positively impacting your trip? At the end of the 150th journey, after your team
Sorry, guys, we lost the last half of that question. At the end of the journey,
Nice and loud. No. Yeah. You don't see it.
After you finished collecting and conducting data, how do you see it positively impacting Canada's future generations?
oh,
Okay, I heard that. I heard that question. It's a great question. Well, I think that this journey will have a lot of really important legacies and outcomes. One is I hope that we'll be able to connect a lot of Canadians like we're doing today. I'm just walking out onto the dock, and it's a lot about building friendships and partnerships that will lead, like partnerships and people are the core to everything. It's why Canada C3 is happening. So that's one thing. A greater awareness of our country, I think, is another. We're going to be trying to showcase people and places and stories. Like, did you know that Canada is as high from themes of Canada 150 and Canada C3, which are youth, the environment, conciliation, people, artists, teachers, athletes. We're going to be having some people that you know, but also some people you've never heard of, but add to our knowledge of Canada's oceans. And I think a lot of things we don't know yet will be inspired by this. We're making documentaries and books, lesson plans for educators and teachers. And yeah, the list goes on and on. It's a great question, but I'm certain that there will be a lasting, like our 100th anniversary in 1967. This anniversary of 150 in 2017 is a really great opportunity for us to look at our past, look at where we are today, but also think about where do we want to go? How can we make Canada better?
all right. Great question. And I know you guys are doing some amazing things. This is a question from YouTube. We're watching live. They say, thanks for coming to our school in Sydenham earlier in the week.
Oh, yeah.
It's a high school, and they're wondering, when you get to the leg around Alaska, what will you be up to? Will there be relationship kind of building between the U.S.? What's the plan around Alaska?
That's a great question. So it turns out Alaska is also celebrating its 150th year since the Alaska Purchase. So we're going to be helping Alaskans celebrate that. But it's a great opportunity for us to also showcase the long and very, very close relationship Canada and the United States share. Also, the relationship between the Inuit of Alaska and the Inuit of Canada, the various indigenous peoples of the Arctic, the Gwich'in as well. Issues that we facing the Arctic in terms of development, in terms of climate change. Of course, the Arctic, as we know, is on the front lines of our changing climate. And that's really affecting the ecosystem there, the ice, both the sea ice and the glaciers. It's affecting the culture. It's also, because of that change environmentally, it's bringing with it other change like shipping and fishing and oil and gas exploration. So we will be looking at that throughout the journey. But when we go around Alaska, which by the way is going to take 20 days, it's a huge part of the journey, we'll be looking at shared issues and shared solutions. And I would also add that we will stop along the way. We're not just going to sail around Alaska. We're stopping at a number of communities to meet people.
All right. Awesome.
I'm going to go, while I'm talking here, I want to walk you guys over to the giant floor map. Some of you may have seen this, but we've made these in partnership with Canadian Geographic and the Royal Canadian Geographical Society and other partners involved. and it's a map where people can see Canada and where we're sailing, and you can actually walk on it. It's awesome. Here it is. Here. It's I love maps and charts, and this one's interesting because we always look at our country this way, don't we? But what's great, I'm just going to walk across it right now, is you can look at Canada from the top, from the North Pole down, and it looks like a very different country. So it's a bit sunny, but here's the Northwest Passage, and that red line is the route that we will take all through the Arctic. And there's Alaska, around Alaska, 20 days, all the way down to finishing up in Vancouver Island, right there in Victoria, BC. So we've got lots of little kids here looking at this map, which is awesome. And it's actually how the idea for Canada C3 was created. We looked at a map of Canada, which is so inspiring, and we just thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to go all the way around the country? I want to introduce you guys to Aaron. Aaron is one of our C3 team members, and we're talking to Aaron with a bunch of students around the country. And Aaron's one of our participants, and he is a singer, he's a musician, a country music musician from Calgary. So you guys,
from Vancouver, Gabriel Island.
Originally Calgary?
Nope.
Oh, not from Calgary, from Gabriola Island.
Assume that. Calgary's full of cowboys.
He's a cowboy, and he's got the best cowboy boots I think I've ever seen. But he's an amazing singer, so you should check out some of his videos.
All right.
Any other questions?
Let's meet another classroom. Miss Drayton's class is joining us. Let's see. There it is. From Calgary. They're a grade 1-2 class, and your microphone should be on. Go ahead with the question for Geoff.
Have the scientists used their special nets yet?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Could you repeat that?
Have the scientists used their special nets yet?
Oh, good question. Yes, the scientists have been using their special nets. In fact, I saw them yesterday. The scientists go out every single day to collect samples. They use one of our boats, and they take bottles out, they take nets out, they take something called a sample grabber, which is like a big shovel that they can dig right into the bottom of the river or the bottom of the ocean to grab some soil. But I'm pretty sure that they've been using their nets. And then they take those samples, and it's very important to quickly get them into the fridge or the freezer so that they can study those things later on. The scientists are busy, and they're very, very passionate, like everybody, whether they're scientists or other team members. Everybody on the ship is playing a really important role. And everybody loves what they do, and that's the great thing about careers. You can pick something that you really are passionate about, like Aaron, who loves to sing. This is the front of the ship, the bow. The front of a ship is called the bow. The back of the ship is called the stern. The left side that we're looking at here is called the port, and the other side, anybody know? The starboard. The starboard.
Push that forward.
All right, Geoff. Well, we have one more class to visit.
Okay, great.
The microphone on. Mrs. Larmer's group is joining us out of North Bay, and they're a grade 1-2.
Oh, North Bay. I love North Bay.
And let me turn your microphone on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, ask them. Do you
Do I get seasick? Was that the question?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I've been seasick a few times, but luckily I'm one of the lucky people that don't really get seasick. But I have, and it's not very fun. You feel pretty lousy, but some people get really seasick. It depends on the person, and it also depends on how rough the seas are. Right now here in the St. Lawrence River, it's nice and calm. Nobody's been seasick so far. And I don't think we'll get anybody seasick until we get down further towards the Maritimes, where we'll get out into the Gulf of St. Lawrence and then into the Atlantic Ocean, and the ship will start moving a lot more. But you get used to it after a while. And it's just part of being on a ship sometimes. North Bay, by the way, I wanted to say to you guys in North Bay, Meredith Brown, who's our chief scientist on this leg, she's from North Bay, and she's an amazing woman. She's also the Ottawa River Keeper, so she spends her career focused on trying to protect our watershed, and the watershed of the Ottawa River goes all the way up to Mattawa, very close to North Bay. So I'll say hi to Meredith from you guys.
All right, perfect. Geoff, I lied to you. I've got my grade 7 class here, and Jordan would like to ask you a quick question.
Awesome. That'd be great.
What?
How fast does it go?
How fast is it?
Yeah.
Not very fast. It's this ship is 220 feet long, and it's got 4 engines, big engines. We're usually only using 2 so that we save on fuel. But even at full speed, we only go about 13 knots, and that's not very fast. It's like you could pretty much run that fast. But that's the thing about a ship, is you're not in a big rush. You go at a nice slow speed. You see a lot more than racing around, but it's not a speedboat, that's for sure. It goes a good speed, but not very quickly.
All right. Well, Geoff, a week in, the first leg is almost done. How does that feel to be out there and actually the dream has come true, the vision is happening?
Oh, it feels so great. It's been an amazing week, from Toronto to Picton, Ontario, to Kingston, to Cornwall, Prescott, Brockville, and now here in Cornwall. It's real now. That this idea that we've been working on this project for 2 years now is real, and I'm just being able to speak with you guys is an example of that. It's very exciting. We're thrilled to be underway. It's proving itself to be what we hoped, and much more. So it feels really good. All the work is like any big project that you guys might do. It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of great people and teamwork. But if you stick at it, you can make anything happen. And this is an example of a great project that so many people have helped to make possible.
Well, Geoff, it is an absolutely incredible undertaking, an amazing expedition. I can't wait to host more Hangouts. I know the classrooms can't wait to follow along, even in the summer. Thank you so much for joining us live from the St. Lawrence on World Ocean Day. It was an awesome experience.
Well, thank you guys. I hope to talk to you again, and happy World Oceans Day. Have a great last few weeks of school and a great summer, and please do follow us along, because we'll be going every day, and we'd love to have you join us.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn the microphones on, let the classroom say goodbye and thank you, and then we'll let you get back to your day. So, classroom.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.